it's so much different to watch these films with a crowd. Even for me, and I work with these films constantly, I will sit at home working with them, reviewing them, finding them, archiving them, and it's kind of it's a fascinating experience, but for me it can be even kind of deadpan. But when I'm showing them to an audience and I'm seeing the audience reactions and hearing them laugh or chuckle or snicker, I start doing the same thing. So it starts coaxing those reactions out of me as well. And I think people really feed off of each other's reactions, and it starts to become this really cool, you know, mutual kind of experience. Watching them in a communal setting like that really brings out a lot more emotion, and I think appreciation for that.
I've been going almost regularly for a year, so 11 maybe, 12, like around there, like about a dozen at this point.
Let's see, this is like Cartoon Carnival like 45?
Yeah.
I think my first show was I think 29 is the first time.
It'll be a couple years, if not more. It seems like, I think he's up in the 40s now, so it seems like I started in the 20s. I first found out about it, so probably like 4 or 5 years, I'm guessing.
How long does it take you to put together one show?
Probably about a couple hours. So I have to find the prints I want to pull, and then I compile them. So it could take at least a couple hours. And also, sometimes I'm running things that I haven't shown before for in a very long time, and they'll need some repairs or cleaning along the way. So that can add to it.
Do you watch it before in terms of like flow and what will play for an audience and whatnot, or?
Purely by title and memory. And however it goes, it goes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, because the flow works so well, I thought.
You think so?
I thought that was something you were
intentional.
Yeah, I was like.
It usually works out that way.
Yeah, okay.
But I think cartoons just have a habit of doing that. They kind of bounce off each other. But other than that, there's no, beyond the theme and what I remember about them, there's no master plan. And sometimes I'll space them out based on, you know, I don't want to have 3 from one studio so close together or that kind of thing. I'll move them around.
Is there one studio you played more than any other? Or?
You know, I don't think so. I play a lot of the, just because of the period of stuff I have, I play a lot of New York produced things, so a lot of Van Buren from the 30s and late 20s, a lot of Paul Terry cartoons, so things like Aesop's Fables and Farmer Alfalfa, Felix the Cat, Blunt and Jeff, things like that. But occasionally I'll throw in some of the bigger Warner Brothers favorites. Like tonight we have a Bosco cartoon.
Oh, cool.
Early Warner.
Oh, cool.
I was like, oh, you should come to the Cartoon Carnival. And she was like, oh, hey, what's up? And she was like this. She was like, oh my God, he's so cute. And I was like, yeah, he collects cartoons from the 1900s to the 1940s. And she was like, oh my God. And I was like, you need to meet him. And she was like, yeah, she was like, yeah, she was all over it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You want
to see a picture of her?
Sure. She might like Dan too. You never know.
Probably not.
Dan's a big old
Well, this is kind of like a weird picture, but I took this picture.
Where'd you get this projector from?
This I got actually from somebody on Craigslist. I think it was an NYU student who bought it somewhere else.
Oh, really?
For one filmmaking class, and then they didn't need it anymore. So I got it that way.
How many shows have you done with this projector?
This machine, probably about 50, maybe more.
Got me more into like Fleischer. Like I was always kind of into them, but like after seeing the early stuff, I kind of became more fascinated with them.
Yeah.
And also like his specialty is like the cartoons in between Winsor McKay and like to CAD, so like that period that people in animation, like professors in animation classes usually skip over. It's like that period that it usually focuses on.
Would you do more of these in the summer, or
Consistently.
but not as many in the fall or winter?
Oh yeah, at least once a month I try and do them.
Oh,
So, usually every month if I can.
okay.
Sometimes I have to skip for whatever reason, but like we do, try and do a Halloween,
Oh.
Christmas, and Valentine's.
Yeah.
But even between all that, we come up with these funky themes. Like once we did food-themed cartoons.
Yeah.
And anything about children, like humanized children.
Yeah.
That was pretty bizarre. Earlier this year, we had a long string of animal themes. So we did like cats, dogs, birds.
Yeah.
And then next month we're doing monkeys and gorillas and apes. So try and do everything we can.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are a lot of themes I still haven't delved into yet.
Like, it's just so great to see all these red cartoons in good shape and not just
Yeah.
seeing them in like little, like pixelated things on YouTube. Because I guess that most of these cartoons are on YouTube, but it's horrible, like just wrangled. Like, oh, it was so beautiful before the accident.
I don't think anyone really likes Molly Moo-Cow.
No, Tommy.
Just you?
I love Molly.
Big Molly Moo-Cow
Give
fan?
them all to me.
And you can be sure it's the best show in town. Your continued patronage is very, very welcome.
With this series, we've shown a lot of characters and studio output that were once very big names and once very popular, and a lot of us film geeks and historians know these characters and know these series, but a lot of the people coming to these shows have no idea what a lot of it is, and they're just fascinated to see this, potpourri of once famous characters. And I'm not sure if they're that memorable, that in a specific sense of people becoming fans of one thing or another because of the show. I think they're just taking it all in as one experience.
I mean, I really like the Disney Oswalds, but I mean, Farmer Alfalfa's great, Bobby Bumps is great, a lot of the Bray ones, a lot of the early Walter Lantz ones, like Dinky Doodle and Pete the Pup.
Paul Terry, Farmer Alfalfa, silent ones are just crazy, and love them too. I love the old Tom and Jerry's, the Mutt and Jeffs. I've only seen a few of those, but I love them too. So yeah, I love the silent cartoons. They're great.
He introduced me to Coco the Clown, and Coco the Clown has actually turned out to be one of my favorite cartoons throughout the whole screening process. But I've also really gotten to appreciate a lot of the Popeyes that he's got in his collection, which are great.
What do you like about Molly?
I think it's so ridiculous that this was chosen as like a big cartoon character star. But even so, there's something kind of lovable about Molly. I don't know what it is, and nobody agrees with me. So I'm alone in my fandom.
So why don't you like Molly?
It's a very annoying cartoon character, one of the worst characters in the history of animation. You should hold a bonfire rally and destroy all Molly Moo-Cow cartoon negatives.
Do you think next show you'll have more Molly Moo-Cow, or?
I think I will have no Molly Moo-Cow.
No Molly
in the
Moo-Cow?
next show. The problem is with that series is that very few were made in the first place.
Yeah.
I don't have good copies of all of them.
Oh.
And to have shown 2 in one night means that I've kind of gone overboard for a while. So Molly Moo-Cow tends to be very unpopular, so I think I might spare people for a couple months at least.
I think in general, I'm always shocked to see how much they got away with, how much the animators got away with, in a very subtle sense of how a character, was portrayed, or what type of dialogue they use, or the type of action sequence they go through.
There are occasions where people will not clap for a film if it ends on a politically incorrect note, and that tends to be true, even though with these films, a lot of what we show tends to have problematic gags like them throughout the content, but when they end on a note like that, that usually leaves the crowd kind of cold. And so we had one of those tonight, and I'll probably remember that for a while. It went fairly well. We had a nice turnout. Various people had gone away for the summer, so I think the travel experiences were fresh in their minds, and hopefully they, some things in the cartoons resonated with them. But the one difficult thing that I have in most shows is that from my vantage point with the projector running next to me, it's hard for me to hear and gauge the reactions of the audience members. So sometimes I have to rely on eyewitness accounts for that. But I think it went well.